Coming to you live from inside Mother, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and if we break quarantine, we could all die.
You've broken.
Luckily, our
You've
crew
actually
is
broken.
expendable.
That was a pure choice of words, Bruce.
And speaking of our expendable crew, the one that I have just broken, coincidentally, it's a robot. It's a goddamn robot. It's Chris.
Right.
Right. And secondly, he's a survivor, unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality. It's Andy.
That's totally true.
Yeah, that fitted you very well. We're the 10 Point Podcast. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm not going to list all the apps. Just wherever you get a podcast, you will find us. Type in 10 Point Podcast. We're usually a little microphone, most often purple in colour, and you will find us there. We're also on YouTube, 10 Point Podcast on YouTube, and our video reviewers can see us there. Give us any comments and likes and responses underneath the video on YouTube, and send us any contact you wish on our social medias, Twitter and on Facebook. We are 10 Point Podcast again. There's no numbers, it's all just the letters, the words 10 Point Podcast, and you can get us there. And we have a website, 10pointpodcast.com. You can email us directly there. You can donate there as well, and you can see all of our articles and reviews of other things on the website too. Of course, there are new films starting now. We are now quickly approaching April 2021 at the time we're recording, and there's actually maybe going to be films coming to cinemas soon.
Do you remember we had that news podcast that did this?
We did have a news podcast, and we used to. All the films we discussed on those news podcasts are coming out now, so you can now go back if you can find them. If you downloaded them at the time and saved them, listen to those podcasts again. All those
same news
films are coming. Yeah,
just a different year.
So get in touch with us. We want to hear you. Any of those channels there. 10 Point Podcast is what our name is. In the past week, what have you been watching, lads? Chris, we'll come to you. What have you been watching in the last week?
Quite conveniently, the Justice League was on TV the other day on ITV, the 2017 one, the shitty one. But they fucking butchered that film. When you watch the new one compared to that one, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They've ruined Steppenwolf. He's just like.
A dick.
Have you seen the other one?
Yep.
Yeah, he's watched it.
I've seen both now. I have now seen the Snyder Cut, so yes, I second that.
To explain, he says he's in exile and mentions Darkseid once. That's it. Nobody knows who Darkseid is now until you watch this one. But
yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't think Darkseid even played into the first Justice League. Like he was such a bit part, as a passing reference. I didn't know. I thought they'd been like, oh, they've now added Darkseid to the Zack Snyder cut. I thought, oh, I didn't realize he was in it at all.
When you see it, like there's so much footage that's been used over, so I don't know how they've managed to fuck that one up so badly, because Snyder's done all the work for them.
Yep, it was already filmed, then he fucked off.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for the new Suicide Squad. It looks batshit crazy.
It does. I think someone will tell me the real name, but the Shark guy looks like he's going to be the new cult hero. I think
King Shark.
Yeah,
King Shark. There we
He's
go.
already in the Flash TV series.
Right. Okay.
I still need to watch that.
It's
the standout trailer for me.
Patrick from SpongeBob is what we want to be worrying about in that trailer.
Yeah,
The big kaiju motherfucker.
But, what about you, Andy? Anything on top of this trailer or Snyder Cut?
I watched the Johnson Family Vacation, which is basically Cedric the Entertainer doing a better version of Chris's Vacation that he picked a few episodes ago.
Right. Okay. Not National Lampoon, but the Johnson.
No,
instead.
just Johnson Vacation, which is basically exactly the same story as any National Lampoon thing, but just with Cedric the Entertainer and Beyonce's sister. Jason Momoa pops up, Shannon Elizabeth pops up. Banger of a film. It's on Disney Star. You can go watch that. Other than that, I just watched some TV shows, but nothing stellar.
Yeah, I can't add anything new, to be honest. Snyder's Justice League took up my entire day one day watching that, and then I finished coming to number 2 America, and it's not as good as the first one, but I think everyone thought that going in. But other than that, I've not much to add. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier started now, so episodes 1 and 2 are in the books for that one, so I'm enjoying it so far. But yeah, not much in the way this week.
Some dodgy CGI in the second episode, though. I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
Up your game, Disney.
There we go. You got money to spend, Disney. Come on, spend it on some CGI. We better get on to.
money to spend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Better go on to the reason that we're here this week, though. Point number 1 on the 10 Point Podcast is, what is the point? The point this week The 1979 sci-fi horror film Alien, brought to us by 20th Century Fox and Brandywine Ronald Shusett Productions. Brandywine Productions, I did some research, pretty much only make Alien films. Every other film they've made is Alien or Alien vs Predator or Prometheus, and then one other film that they made before the first Alien. There's nothing to do with aliens, but that's it. Ever since then, all been Alien stuff. The film directed, this is Alien itself, directed by Ridley Scott, famous for a whole, I don't know, collage of cinema. His first big film was Alien itself, so he didn't have much that was huge beforehand, but after making Alien, highlights are Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, Kingdom of Heaven, American Gangster, Prometheus, The Martian, and then Alien Covenant. I think that's the main Ridley Scotts. I cut out a few other ones that I may have missed. Are those the main Ridley Scotts that you're aware of, that you're thumbs up on?
He's very hit or miss, isn't he?
Yeah.
He seems to be a big proponent of the director's cut. Like the Alien, we did a director's cut of Alien, and then Kingdom of Heaven is meant to be this legendary. His version of Kingdom of Heaven is way better than the actual version that came out in the theatrical.
I've got a new rule. I think I've said it before. If you hire a director, let them direct. Like, don't have a director and go, all right, actually we're going to change this. Oh, actually we're going to change this. If you've committed to something, you follow it through. I don't give a shit what happens. Mm-hmm. You follow it through, or you get fired and the whole film gets spinned off. That's what should happen.
There we go.
I'm not a fan of. Sorry, Bruce.
No, you go.
I was just saying, I'm not a fan of them making like a horror film and then watering it down so it's not violent.
I know.
If somebody's going to attack you, it's going to be bloody and gory. You don't. It's make it R-rated. Don't make it a 12.
If somebody fucks my Mortal Kombat off, there'll be trouble.
Not going to be happy. Back to Alien though. The film written by Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, the aforementioned. The two of them mainly work together. There's odd ones that one or two has, but their highlights in terms of writing things were Dark Star, Alien, Heavy Metal, The Return of the Living Dead, Aliens, and then Total Recall. And then beyond Total Recall, their names just keep flagging up on their filmography because they essentially wrote Alien and wrote Total Recall. So every spin-off and sequel and remake of those, their name pops up again as part of writing it. But they are the highlights. Alien stars. I'll put stars. Opening credits of the film lists the main star as Tom Skerritt as the main star of the film. Famous for MASH before making Alien. Then after Alien, followed up with Top Gun, Steel Magnolias, The Rookie, the TV series Picket Fences, which he was essentially the lead and was in nearly every episode of, and then the film Contact. Tom Skerritt, I don't know, he doesn't make a lot of good films, but he makes a lot of bad films.
Contact's amazing.
Contact is good. Top Gun, obviously, is certainly something. But yeah, he has probably the largest number of TV movies written next to the title of his films. He seems to be a specialist in TV movies, Tom Skerritt. But yeah, in terms of big films, not a lot. Alien seems to be the absolute high point, personally. And co-starring with him, Sigourney Weaver, who eventually actually is the star. Alien was her first breakout role in terms of movies, and then she stars in the majority of the rest of the series. Other Sigourney Weaver highlights, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, Gorillas in the Mist, Working Girl, Galaxy Quest, The Village, Avatar and its upcoming sequels that we have not yet got, however many years later, and then a brief appearance in Paul, and then A Monster Calls. They are the Sigourney Weaver highlights. Who is Sigourney Weaver to you guys?
Alien. Or Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I would say yeah. Alien's the first one. Ghostbusters is the one that often jumps to mind. Yeah. The fact that she is not Dana, she is Zool, and all that comes to mind when I think of her. Alien, made on a budget of just $11 million. It was 1979, however. Opened in the US first weekend, 3.5 million. Final US gross, 82 million. Made 70 million profit at home. Worldwide bumped up its overall gross to $106 million. A massive money spinner. Therefore, they made 5 sequels to it, and probably more at some point. So yeah, a lot of money in the Alien franchise. Released 22nd of June 1979, meant that it qualified for the 1980 Oscars, where it got 2 nominations. Best Art Direction Set Decoration, it lost to the film All That Jazz, but for Best Effects Visual Effects, it was the winner in 1979. It won an Oscar for Best Effects Visual Effects. This is the oldest film we've ever covered, as Chris mentioned when he picked it. So we've never covered the Oscar Best Picture race that year. 1980, Best Picture. Pick your winner from All That Jazz, Apocalypse Now, Breaking Away, Kramer vs. Kramer, and Norma Ray. Can't say I've heard of all of them.
Apocalypse Now is the
I
one
want to
I've
say
heard of.
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now is the big one for me. I've heard for a couple others, but it was one of the ones I heard of. Kramer vs. Kramer that won Best Picture that year. It's a famously good film, but I can't say I've seen it to speak on my own opinion of it. But there we go.
Yeah, but shite, won the
Now did
Oscar.
not win. And Alien probably should have been in there personally. No Razzies or MTV Movie Awards in 1980, unfortunately. But Alien,
for me.
yeah. But Alien, this was either the last year or the second last year before the Razzies started, so it just missed out on the Razzies. The Razzies picked up steam in the 1980s. Other awards for Alien were Best Production Design and Best Soundtrack at the BAFTAs. It won another award for being the best drama and another for Best Cinematography Special Effects. Majority of Alien's awards all came this century for its DVD and Blu-ray release. It's won something like 16 awards in its history, and 10 of them are for its Blu-ray and Blu-ray extras and this, that, and the other. So yeah, not much in the way of awards back in the day, but obviously there's far more awards going around now. Quick synopsis of the film by Nick. He provided this, a bit of a teaser rather than a synopsis. In the depths of the cold, boundless space, Mother, the state-of-the-art AI supercomputer aboard the commercial towing vehicle, the US CSS Nostromo, detects a possible distress signal from a nearby barren, inhospitable moon, Acheron, and awakens the 7-member crew from their cryosleep. To investigate the mysterious transmission, Captain Dallas, along with the other executive officer Kane and navigator Lambert, descend to the dim-lit celestial body known as LV-426, only to discover a downed but relatively intact extraterrestrial spacecraft and its bizarre cargo. But was this cryptic signal indeed a desperate SOS, or was it a warning? Either way, somehow, something else too has found its way into the Nostromo, and now its silent, dark corridors will never be safe again. Who dares to confront the formidable alien, the unwanted 8th passenger? That was a synopsis. Things in there I don't think were in the film. Like, I don't actually mention the name of the planet in the film at any point, and I don't.
No, but nerds fan wank over this stuff. They love it.
Exactly. There's been so much expansion of the universe since the film that this all exists and has names. I briefly mentioned it earlier. Which version did we watch? I watched the Blu-ray 2003 Director's Cut. Is what I watched.
Mine wasn't the Blu-ray. It was the Alien Quadrilogy DVD Director's Cut.
You Director's Cut as well.
Yeah.
I had a quick look doing my notes at the theatrical one, and the theatrical version is 1 minute longer, but there are a few changes between the Director's Cut, like tiny. Like there's one notable, but for the most part, it's the same film by all means. So I don't know what Ridley Scott actually wanted to change about it. Chris, it was your selection, so why don't you give us a brief reason or two why you wanted to pick Alien?
I thought it was about time we had another strong female character, and I haven't done a film before the 90s yet. I only found this out a couple of days ago, but Yaphet Kotto, the guy that plays Parker, he died just a week ago.
He did. I think we mentioned him on the podcast.
I always mention him.
We have not had a... We definitely talked about him at some point. It may have been off the record before and after.
I'm sure he'll come up.
The podcast.
I found it when I was doing some research.
Andy, any thoughts on Alien going into the watch of the film this time?
I'd seen it.
You've seen it, and same for me.
1,000,001 times.
The Blu-ray collection I had, so I had definitely had a knowledge of it beforehand. On to point two, then, the high points. What we thought the best bits of the film were. Chris, why don't you lead us off with one or two of
Get to the end, Chris. Get to the end.
Do you know what? I'm going to say the derelict ship. Like, that entire set was awesome. If you haven't seen any of the other films, obviously, if you see this one, you're kind of like, why is he there? Why has he got like a hole in his chest? What is he doing? And what are all the eggs and stuff? How did he get there? Opens up so many questions.
I think it's a good mystery though. It doesn't necessarily have to be solved. It's just like you could expect. Okay, we're on an alien planet. We found a random guy. He's well dead. Here's a bunch of eggs, and it's like you can kind of put two and two together and make up your own sort of what happened there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know if it's Alien Covenant, but one of the prequels kind of changes significant bits and pieces of what we find there. But in terms of the film itself, you can add up all the different bits and pieces. But yeah, the ship itself looks spectacular.
Yeah.
And those people watching on YouTube can see it behind Andy.
It looks like a bendy penis.
It was nicknamed the Big Croissant or something like that when they were filming it. But my first high point has got to be the fact, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, is the fact you actually
Standard.
see the alien, but you don't actually realise you're looking at the alien.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Like,
yeah,
There's a scene where I think it's when Brett gets killed,
yeah,
and you just see it swinging from the chains, and you're like, "What the fuck is that?" And then you see the alien, and then you're like, "Wait a minute, let's go back here. That is actually alien just swinging
Yeah.
about."
because it's like so much kind of weird looking machinery and sets. Like it just looks like, oh yeah, they've got that bulldozer thing there, and they've got a digger thing over there because they're bringing back the mining equipment. Like, oh, it could just be a part of equipment, as you say, just hanging on some chains. And I think this is maybe, I don't know if it's been a while since I watched it, but this might be the first time that I've realised, oh my god, that is a full-on shot of the alien about
Yeah.
10 seconds before it reveals itself. And then it happens later on, at least once in the film after that as well. But yeah, the actual look of the alien.
That's
is
why I
amazing.
stopped playing that Alien Isolation game. Shitted me right up.
I eventually finished it. It took me ages. Like,
I couldn't do it.
there's a few videos of Xbox of it just jumping out at me, and I shit myself. You just see me pausing it or something like that at one point. But like, this brings me right up into the next point: is proper jump scares. Right, when Dallas gets caught, you know it's there.
Yeah.
You think it's coming from above him, and then he's just there and just screams at him, and you get a wee fright. And then when the facehugger has fallen off of Kane, and it just lands on Ripley.
Yeah.
Again, it's another bit. It just kind of shits you up a little bit.
Yeah, it's good. The Dallas in the shaft bit with the beeping is amazing because the entire time you just know that it's getting closer, and then like it stops. It's right on top of you, and you just brace yourself for impact because at any point it's just going to be there and jump out of a dark corner. It's an amazing bit, and it's
one of these films where you're constantly tense.
Yeah. One of my high points I've got is 2 hours of just the feeling of impending doom. Like when the film starts, you're like, okay, this film's called Alien, and then it's like, okay, and then it's like, all right, they found this thing, that's going to be bad, and the actual feeling and the sound and everything. Throughout the entire film, there's like a heartbeat in the entire.
That's another point. Yeah, I've never noticed that before until this viewing.
Yeah, same.
And it's always when somebody's getting snatched or killed.
I had to change my viewing habits because again with the Blu-ray it always annoys me that loud things are really loud and quiet things are really quiet when it comes to Blu-ray sounds. So I had it turned up quite loud, and the first time a big bang happened, it gave Jade the fright of her life, but she wasn't even paying attention. So I had to put my headphones on. I watched the rest of it with my headphones on, and it's having that heartbeat in my head the entire time, just tensing up the whole way through.
Well, I might as well talk about this. Kind of,
I'm going next. Sets. This is a film that's got good sets, and I love sets.
Very much, it is.
Because they're pretty much flawless. Like
I read somewhere that the halls in the Nostromo, Ridley Scott made them smaller each day to get the feeling of claustrophobia.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice trivia note. I like that.
There's horrors of this stuff.
You're right though, Andy, because like the whole film is just like, is it like 7 people and an alien?
Yeah, they spent money on the set.
So you know who everybody is, and it's like by about 45 minutes into the film, you get an idea of the whole space. Like, you know, they've got this kind of lunchroom, and then you've got the mother room, and then there's the hospital area, the med bay, and like everything looks like it would be like it looked on a spaceship. And yeah, everything is practical. And I think I don't know, one of you guys might know better, but there's essentially no special effects in terms of locations. There's like the painting of, I'm assuming it's a painting, the ship we were just talking about. It looks like it's artwork, but
yeah,
everything else is pretty much actually there, with the exception of space, I suppose. But there's nothing there.
Yeah, I mean, they get actually to the bit. They've looks like they've made the walls. They've done everything else. Everything's physical.
Yeah.
That's how you make films. No CGI.
Yes, exactly. Any other high points, Andy?
Nah.
All right.
Literally the sets.
Aye.
I've got well, we've not mentioned the chestburster scene. The single, like, when I did I always, for my parodies for my movies and all that, I note down what I see, and if I miss anything, I look on various websites that do movie connections and all that. And Alien has by far the most referenced in and spoofed in list of films I've ever seen in my life, and half of it's the chestburster. Like anything bursts out of anyone, it's like, oh, that's Alien, that's Alien, that's Alien. But that scene itself,
I just love it. Like after he pops out and then he gets his little top hat and starts dancing and singing. It's brilliant.
Hello, my honey. Hello.
It's brilliant.
But yeah, it's just a perfect scene. And it's probably the least scary bit now because the little alien thing is such a cute little thing. Like it seems so harmless. But yeah, but I'm assuming back in the day it would be completely gruesome for
It
those.
gave me
Right.
the irrational fear of bugs laying eggs in me and bursting out of me.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid.
Right. So I don't have many high points in this film, but it does raise a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And let's discuss this now. Aliens, right? Big fucking massive egg. Then facehugger comes out, quite a hefty thing, which is designed just to put a tiny little thing into a human to make this tiny little thing come out. How fucking fast does it grow into like a full like?
Exceptionally fast.
I always
Yeah.
have problems with it because it like even like not even just in this film, but the entire franchise. This is a thing. It's like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense.
It's
So
not
it
there's
does-
anything there to eat either to make
No.
it grow.
Yeah, am I right in thinking it's tiny, it runs away, and then the next kill that it does,
Yeah, it's huge.
isn't it? Like, it doesn't kill anything in between.
Yeah.
It doesn't even like eat the cat or anything like
It's
that.
not even eating the
just,
snack cupboard or nothing. It's full size. It's like this seems like a like okay, an amazing design for an alien because it works, but I don't know. I feel like there's a missing stage of evolution in every alien film, and I want to know what that is.
The excuse they always have is it's an alien. You don't know what
Exactly.
it does, so they'll always get away with that. But yeah, maybe that's why it has to go in the body because it just sucks everything out of old John Hurt.
Maybe.
And then it's like, okay, I'm about to get big. Let's jump out, run away in a corner, and I go whoop and get massive all of a sudden.
I'd rather talk about the alien. I'll put it in as my high point, like the actual alien design. It might look a bit penisy because that's obviously intentional because Geiger loves penises, but
Yep.
Yes.
it like when they actually do it, it's pretty good. Other than like when they do a distance shot and it's quite clearly a guy in a rubber suit. But the
Yeah,
whole head thing is brilliant. However, I do have an issue of he's got this massive head and he's made of acid. Why does he have a tiny little mouth come out? That seems unnecessary.
It seems to be the kill shot, I think. I might be wrong. Like, does he eat maybe with the big mouth, but then he knows he's got this kind of this bit
Yeah,
that
but he's
shoots out
also
and he
got a
can
fucking
break
tail
them.
with a
I've actually
fucking.
seen an alien eat though. You see it kill and you see it
Yeah.
take away. You never see it eat.
Yeah,
And it
I
just
think
seems-
that's what it does with them.
It's like it's got everything. It's got big claws. It's got a razor sharp tail. It's got acid as blood, but it's got this tiny little feeble mouth thing that comes out. It's like that annoys me.
Can't be that feeble. It kills everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned the acid blood. My favourite special effect in the whole film is the acid going on the floor and just it burning through the floor. It's probably very simple. It's probably just throwing something very basic on some, I don't know, polystyrene or something like that. But I just love the fact that it tears through the floor. I was like, that's just movie magic. At its
Go on,
best
Chris.
there.
Just tell us a
I
fun
love
fact that
that.
they just really used acid.
Oh, I've never seen anything like that. I do
Ah.
have. It's not really a fun fact. It's probably the most commonly known fact in the whole world now. Is about the chestburster scene. Everybody thinks that nobody knew about it,
Yeah.
but it's only like half true. Like they knew something was going to happen. They didn't know what.
Yeah, they didn't
Like,
tell
Veronica Cartwright-
her. Yeah, they didn't tell her. I think it
Yeah,
was.
she's going to
she's
get
the one,
splattered
yeah.
with blood.
Yeah.
So her reaction was genuine. But Sigourney Weaver kind of had an inkling because she's walked on set. There was like a transparent sheet, and she's like, "Well, something's going down here," and they're all wearing like raincoats, and then obviously blood splatters everywhere. And
Shit's
it's like
about
real
to get
blood and
freaky.
guts and everything. So apparently the whole set stinks for ages.
Yeah, it has to be one of the high points.
Yeah.
The other scene that I've got as a high point is your boy Brett looking for the cat and the first appearance of the alien. Just the actual that's one of the biggest impending dooms. As you know, you never go off on your own when there's something scary out there to do that. But I thought it was a really good scene. And my last high point is the Ash heel turn at the end of the film, where the first time I watched this, I had no idea. Like I didn't see the signs. I just thought he was a bit weird, and
Yeah.
but then to full on like watching my second watch through and seeing all the things that he did and all that, it's like, all right, the whole time he's been trying to get this alien back. But also, are we to believe that nobody knew he was an android, or did only Dallas know, or did more than Dallas know he was an android or a robot?
I don't think anybody knew. Maybe at Dallas, somebody he did say
It's a,
anything.
it's a lot of effort to cryogenically freeze an android and everything like that as well.
I did wonder about that because like they did it so like they must have done that solely just to hide the fact from the rest of
Yeah.
the crew that he wasn't a human. They'd have been better off just saying, okay, this guy's a robot. He's going to be looking after the place when you're sleeping and all that, rather than just pretending. Because it seemed to get it was no use pretending, really. It didn't successfully get the alien back, so in the end, it seemed like a bad idea. But yeah, expertly executed twist out of nowhere for Ash being not only the bad guy but also a robot.
Yeah.
Any other high points?
I've got one more. I've got the fact that the person you think is going to be the hero is the second one killed off. Darth. You think he's the guy. He's going to save everybody, but he's not. You kind of feel a bit reassured when he's around because he's quite. He depends what he's doing. He's talking about, I'll do this, we'll do this, and we're sorted. But then as soon as he dies, that's it. You just panic. You're like, they're all going to die. They're all doomed.
His death is one of the bits that's different. The main bit that's different in the film.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming in all of our versions, he gets got by the alien and then we just never see him again. But in the theatrical version, they kind of go that way where he died when they're running away from the alien, and they find him all kind of gooey and covered in alien eggs, and he asks to be put out of his misery. But for some reason, Ridley Scott decided he didn't want that in his director's cut and got rid of that bit. So that was the one major change. On to the low points then. Point 3 on the podcast, what we thought are the worst things or worst bits about the film. We'll come to you, Andy, since you were very quiet on the old high points.
Balls. There's way too many British balls at the start of this. Like, you don't need that many shots.
There's British balls.
So, yeah.
They're never naked. Did you even see balls?
Oh, when you're watching on a 65-inch telly and the Blu-ray version, it's like the very first thing you see is just like, it's like, oh my god, his testicles popping out of his fucking underwear here.
You may not see them, but they were heavily implied.
Yeah. Just ball sacks on my screen. It's like, I don't need that. But I always have issues. And maybe not just balls, but my whole issue is cryogenically freezing things. I always have issues when any film does this, no matter if they seem to do it good or bad. Because one, like we've already discussed, how do you freeze an android? That seems like it's not going to come back to life.
Unless he was just pretending. Like he might just have been like, I'll have a wee lie down here and close my eyes, and then I'll just lie and think about being evil
Maybe.
for hundreds of years or whatever.
And then, why do they always have to get mostly naked? Like, but...
Maybe their clothes will freeze to them.
But they're still wearing a tank top and fucking underwear then, because then you should just go like all naked.
That's true.
I feel like they should just like... Some films do it right where they wear full suits, but yeah, just wearing your white underwear and your white vest is like, that's the standard uniform in Alien apparently.
So you're saying you should have seen more British balls, is what you're saying then? They should have been naked.
Well, they either like do like spacesuit type things, because that's how I feel like I should be cryogenically frozen, like I'm in a spacesuit or something, just in case the hull gets punctured or something like that, or you're just you're in a suit, you're in your little thing, that's how you did. But then, so sticking with the whole cryogenically freezing thing, you've been woken up for an emergency. The first thought is, I know, let's get a buffet on the go. Let's not go and check where we're navigating to. Let's get a spread. Like, because they were woken up. They were woken up for an emergency, and surely, like, there's some kind of computer protocol where it's like flashing, going, check your navigation, something's happened. But no, let's go and have a buffet. Just to rub it in my fucking face, the pricks.
There we go. Get the problem there.
Managed to do that every time.
The other thing was immediately get a buffet, and then two of them immediately kick up a fuss about the money they're getting paid. The first thing they do in the entire film. We're not getting enough of a share. We need more money.
It's like, somebody check the computer. Somebody check why we got woken up. And then also, like, it leads me on to my next low point. Like, and it's mostly just kicking plot holes, but they're so big they annoyed me that much. Right, distress signal. Oh, there's a distress signal. We should go and see this. As soon as I got down there and seen this big fucking weird looking alien ship, I'd be like, I'm not going in that. Fuck that. But then to have it confirmed later on that, oh yeah, the computer's analysed it. It's not a distress signal. Check before you get out of the fucking ship. See what the computer says. Like, there seems to be no hurry.
Dallas does charge into things quite a lot. He has an idea and he just goes with it. And it's like, we need to go there. We need to go. Like, it seems that he's far too much the company man. Like, he doesn't stop and think about things. He just goes ahead and just does things and never. Yeah, it might be a sensible idea to wait. But I guess they all wanted to get home. Maybe that was like, oh, we need to go do this stupid thing. Let's just get down there, see what it is. It'll be nothing, and we can go away again. Might have been the defense, I guess. I'll just follow on from that then for my first low point, which has to be the biggest low point. just bringing the thing on the ship in the first place. Like, the whole time, Ripley's like, no, the protocols are, it needs to be quarantined, it needs to be this, we need to check what it is first. And they're like, no, it's coming on. And then again, Dallas just being straight ahead, this is what I'm doing, I'm bringing it on, we can get it off of them, we'll be fine. It's a terrible idea. That has to be, I don't know, for me, that's the worst plan is, this thing, it's leached onto him, we'll bring it onto the ship. That's what harm could it do? It was a terrible idea.
At least Jaffa Coat had the right idea.
That leads me to my first point, is like how the fucker actually attached itself to his face. It goes through a helmet, which when they're cutting off, looks like it's an inch thick.
Aye.
And he's like, the alien's proper inside it. I don't know, it annoys me so much because it just doesn't look like it should get through it. That's my low point.
Yeah, but have you seen an octopus go through a small hole? That's terrifying. If you've not seen it, Google it. It's like they just go through the hole, and it's a whole thing.
I'm obsessed with playing with scissors.
Weird. My next low point, which I already know is going to be controversial, but I need to mention it now. Jones the cat. What a dick. He's just a nuisance the entire time. He seems to hate everybody. Every time he just runs off, he gets at least one person killed, nearly gets Sigourney Weaver killed as well, and he provides no purpose. He doesn't get eaten. He doesn't actually save the day. He's just a pain in the arse running around, and she has to save him, so it's an extra thing for her to have to lug around when she's trying to escape off the ship. He was just a bellend, as Andy would say. He was a bellend the entire time. Jones the cat. I don't know why the cat was in it. He did my head in, and with the exception of Brett having to go find him. So he was one of my low points, was this annoying cat running around the ship.
Right. Remember I hated sewers?
Yes, you do hate sewers.
Right. I have an issue with this film as well. So, I get it, it's a mining ship, and they've mined, whatever, 60 trillion tons of something. But that ship does not look like nice and fancy and futuristic, and that you should actually be in that ship. Because there's water leaking everywhere. Like, just
Where's
pissing.
that coming from?
Oh, I've always wondered this question, so I've made up my own little story for it. I think it's like the asteroids and the mines, it's still like, it's got humid in the ship and it's like melting out of the rocks or whatever they mined.
Alright.
Maybe. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. However, surely we'd have a proper cargo bay that's just got like, I'm going to store that in there, I'm going to store that over there. It just looks shit. It's like the sewers on like fucking Mars. You paid all that money to put a facility in, but you've got the world's shittiest sewers with just pipework everywhere.
The worst lighting ever seen on a commercial vehicle, or not a commercial vehicle. But
and this one's pretty much the same as well. It's like they've got still got fluorescent lights on there. They don't have LED bulbs. It's like nobody's using fluorescent tube lights anymore. This is set 250 years in the future. What happened to LED lights?
Well, I will follow that up with my last low point, and it might just be me being crazy, but the display where Mother speaks to them.
Yes.
I watched the theatrical version on my Blu-ray as well, and it's the same on both. That looks way too fancy a screen than there would be in a film in 1979, this display. It's like full-on like high-tech HD kind of screen. And then when they're typing to Mother, they can see on their faces the reflection of it. It's something totally different to what we see. So I don't know if you guys have a different memory from me or if it is just me, but I feel like Mother's display is totally different to what would fit in that room, and also what I think was in the previous version of the film, and it annoyed me because it didn't come like beep, 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 like it looked like it was going to do. It just came up like printed words, all like a nice fancy HD computer from this century. So
what annoyed me was the fact that it's this tiny little screen. I don't know, like 5 inches. Yeah. I can't even see it in my fucking like 40-inch TV. How can they see that sitting back reading that? They've got like 40 vision or something.
40 vision.
Like binocular vision. I couldn't read it.
A lot of kind of lights and flickering things that don't actually seem to do anything, and then a tiny little screen for reading them.
Mother just annoyed me. It seemed like it was actually pointless. Like, just have the android programmed to get the alien, do what he needs to do. But the whole Mother thing, it was very Space Odyssey.
Yeah, very, 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 very 2001: Space Odyssey. Any final low points?
Aye, one more.
Oh, you Andy.
Why the fuck did they have a flamethrower? Like,
you had to make that. He said, can you make up a couple of incinerators?
Yeah, but why? Like, why would they have the equipment to just make a flamethrower?
Melt rock.
Yeah, they've got.
You don't
mining
melt rock.
equipment.
I would get it. It's like, I know,
Super
I
asteroid rock.
I
don't
can't
know.
make a flamethrower, but I can make a jackhammer and then just jackhammer the alien. But how the fuck did they get a flamethrower? And then also, who thought it was a good idea to run through a spaceship with a flamethrower? Like, apparently
Well,
Ripley did.
To be fair, when
Yeah.
you're getting chased by a hungry alien, you
Yeah.
would have run forever.
Yeah, we don't have any guns. Let's just do whatever we can to kill this thing. 'Cause that was even a discussion at one point. Parker was like, "I don't care as long as we're going to kill this thing." That was all he wanted to do. So yeah, you can grab any weapon you can.
And while I'm on the kind of thing like the end bit with the flamethrower, right? You think you've killed the alien, so I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a gratuitous get down to my skivvies again. I'm going to wear underwear that doesn't actually fit me. It's way too small.
I was like, "Pull it up! It's
Yeah.
falling down. Pull them up!"
And then I'm going to have a wee nap and go into my sleeping pod. It's like, that was never going to be a good idea. I'd be like, holy shit, I almost died.
See, I think my point is, well, maybe they have to sleep naked apparently in the cryo things, but I think they got her stripped down so they made her feel vulnerable.
Mhm.
Like, you're more vulnerable when you're walking about in your fucking underwear.
Yeah.
Or in the scuddy.
I don't know. I reckon if an alien was attacking me, I might just drop trousers to just try and scare it off.
Yeah, that's a major plot hole. Her underwear were clean. She would
Yeah.
not have clean underwear on that point. That
She
would
would
be filled.
She would definitely have shot herself multiple times.
That might be coming up later, but...
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Low points,
I've
Chris,
got-
did you have more?
Yeah, I know you're supposed to dislike him, but Ash in general, like before you knew what he was, like he just seemed crazy. Like him doing a random little jog, and
Yeah.
it really annoyed me
Him
that
waving at the
anytime,
window at them as well was
Yeah.
really weird. It was,
anytime Ripley spoke to him, he was just really pissy with her.
Yeah.
And like the whole scene when he malfunctions and tries to like, I don't know, jab a porno down her throat and spin around the room, that scene just it annoyed me. Although like his big like mega titty twister, that was funny. On Parker. I've got another
What a
couple,
random collection of words in a sentence.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, he does. You don't see him. He goes like a really slow and grabs Parker in the titty, like squeezing it.
I know,
Like,
it's
you
just
see, like,
that,
the big
shoving a
red
porno down her
carpet.
throat. It's like, oh, what
Wait,
a line of sentences.
What's my last one? I can't read it now. Oh, I'm being a bit harsher, but I think Andy picked up on it before. Is the zoomed out shots of the alien look really bad?
Aye.
You can tell it's a man in a suit. Like when it's close up in the face and it's haunch, like on its haunches, it's scary as hell and looks awesome. It's
Yeah,
when you
there's a
see it zoomed out.
Spectacular shot of just his head with the water pouring all down, which I don't know
Yeah.
how much of the budget went to that one shot, but that's like that's it's the money right there. That's why they got a series of films with that one shot of the alien's head covered in water with the other thing coming out its mouth.
The really worst one is when it gets blasted out the airlock and it just looks really goofy, just flapping
Yeah.
it out.
I wondered if, like, when I watched the director's cut, I was like, is that actually how it ends? I thought it just sent off into space, but yeah, it looks a bit silly, and it's like, I'll climb back in through the thruster. That's a good idea. It's like, no, that's a terrible way to go in.
That was my last one.
You? We better move on then. Point number 4 on the podcast is the stats. And around this time, Chris usually asks us a question.
He does, but your face is in the way.
I thought I heard a shit.
You did. You heard 3 of them. There were 3 shits in Alien. I don't have them attributed to anyone, but various people said shit at other points. We mentioned it briefly there. Andy, did you hear any shits?
I didn't hear any shits. However, there should have been multiple shits in this film. Because I've talked about the cryo sleep again, right? Do you shit before you go in to cryo sleep? Because
I think they do, and that's why they were so hungry when they came out
Right.
and wanted the buffet.
that makes sense. However, cryo sleep, surely you have to be kind of fed nutrients or at least something pumping oxygen to keep your body working. I don't believe it's just you're frozen Captain America style. I feel like they're pumping something through you. And if you pump something through you, you're going to have to pump something out. So,
You've got a tube jammed up there that's just taking it all away.
no, because they just kind of got up when they're thing again. They didn't pull any tubes out.
Yeah.
So the first thing I would be
Yeah,
doing
don't hurt
is
us
running to the shitter.
struggling.
Like, I just feel like... And you didn't see the toilets in this place either. Like, you've seen every other part of the ship,
Yeah.
but I've never seen one sign saying, right, toilet here, toilet there. And is it like NASA style where it's like vacuum thing? There's a proper toilet? Does it have a sewer system? There were so many questions I needed to know.
Maybe it's the future and people don't poop.
So, very difficult for you for the shit count for this.
Yeah.
One. It's impossible to work out. So yeah, there were 3 shits though, in terms of the words. 7 other swears, so a fairly, I don't know, balanced and well-paced amount of swearing. It wasn't outrageous. Only 3 explosions is what I've put, because when Ripley blew up the ship, thinking the alien was in it, it kind of blew up, I don't know, like flash of light style, and then did it again, and then did it again. So I'm assuming it was 3 consecutive explosions totally disintegrating it, or was it the same thing 3 times in a row? I don't know. I don't know if it was like 3 versions of like the exact same thing happening. But yeah, I think they were explosions. I think it was 3 of them, one after another. Very spacey and difficult to tell. But everything else was just a burst of flame, which is not an explosion exactly. Deaths. I have 6 because does Ash count as a death?
He's a robot.
No.
So
he just got off, switched off.
I don't know. 6 deaths. And then, did we have a dead animal? We did not have a dead cat, because I was keeping track, waiting for it. But does the face hugger count as a dead animal? That's one thing I meant to ask before, was the face hugger, like, it puts something in.
Yeah.
So therefore, is it its own thing? Is it like a different creature to the alien, or is it the same creature? I don't know if it laid an egg or whether it put part of itself.
This is why alien never makes sense, but once again, they're aliens. We don't have to make sense of them.
Exactly. So we might have a dead animal. We might have another death if the facehugger counts as either of them.
I wouldn't class a facehugger as an animal. That's an alien.
That's an alien. And then, for example, the next one, because it's the film Alien, I thought I would count how many aliens there were. There was 1, and maybe the facehugger if it counts. I was going to
count that,
and I was
different.
There you go. So 2 aliens, and then I didn't count the old who became called the space jockey, because he was well dead by the time they found him. So
How is he a space jockey?
Again, that's never mentioned in the film. It was a name that fans gave it.
Yeah.
For years and years and years.
Then
and
they became the engineers.
Came around, yeah, they gave them a name, and everyone's like, "No, space jockey is better." Which it is, but never mind.
Because it looks like he's riding a big horse.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's what it is. Yeah. How long it was till we saw an alien? It was 35 minutes till the facehugger appeared, 57 minutes until the chestburster burst out, and 67 until the full-on Xenomorph alien appeared in the film. So yes, the film Alien, you didn't see the actual alien until 67 minutes into it. And did they say the thing? Did they say alien?
Nah.
Surely they must. No, they didn't call it an alien, did they?
Yeah, not once did anyone ever call it an alien. Mother wrote the word alien on her screen though at one point, but again she didn't voice that either. So the word was never said, but it was written once. Chris, any stats?
I thought you were going to step on my toes here, but you only see the Xenomorph for about 4 minutes through the whole film.
I had read that one, but yes, it's a very good stat. A very good stat. I like that. The main thing is only on screen 4 minutes. Andy, you don't keep stats, do you?
Nah. Just shit.
Not. Oh, just the name. On to point 5 on the podcast. That is the 10-point podcast quiz. Chris, you are the quiz master. What have you got for us?
This week I've gone for Screaming Queens.
Mm-hmm.
These swears are ranked by the force of their scream.
Okay.
I'll give you an actor or an actress, and I want you to tell me if they're higher or lower in this list. So we will start with, we've got to start with Sigourney Weaver and Gary Oldman. Who's higher on the list?
Do we both guess?
We'll start with Andrew.
Right, okay.
I don't get the rules.
Like, there's a list of like people.
It's a decibel
Sigourney
level.
Weaver, yeah, and Gary Oldman are on the list, and who screams louder?
Okay. Gary Oldman can scream louder than...
Which Gary Oldman scream is it?
I don't know. I think it's just all their films mixed together. Let me do my own rules.
It might be him and Leon actually shouting out.
I'm going Gary Oldman can scream louder than Sigourney Weaver, so higher.
Correct. So, Bruce, Gary Oldman or Tracy Morgan?
Oh. I'm going to stick with Gary Oldman.
No, Tracy Morgan.
Oh.
Tracy Morgan or Michael Shannon?
Oh, Michael Shannon's deep. Going lower.
No, you need to tell me who's loud. Like.
Tracy Morgan's higher.
Correct, Tracy Morgan. So Andy's on 2.
Complicated
Tracy
rules.
Morgan or Charlie Day?
He has to be louder. Charlie Day.
Charlie Day, correct.
Yeah.
Charlie Day or Naomi Watts?
Oh. Naomi Watts, because Kong's huge.
That's what I thought, but Charlie Day is.
Oh.
Ah.
Charlie Day or J.K. Simmons?
Oh, he must have some power. J.K. Simmons.
Correct.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons or Nicolas Cage?
Oh. Nicolas Cage doesn't really show range. So I'm gonna say J.K. Simmons.
You'd be wrong.
Ah.
Nicolas Cage or Al Pacino?
Oh. I'll go Al Pacino.
You'd be wrong again.
Ah.
Nicolas Cage or Adam Sandler?
Ah, it's gotta be Adam Sandler.
You'd be wrong again.
Nicolas Cage, my goodness, what power this man has.
I don't
I know, he's got no acting range, but apparently he can scream.
Exactly. He does. He screams quite a lot, apparently. Nicolas Cage or Leonardo DiCaprio?
Right, with a streak of cages here, so I'm going Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
Play the
Leonardo
odds.
DiCaprio. So Leonardo DiCaprio or the Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis?
Leo.
Correct.
Oh my goodness.
That's a tough.
Does
Leonardo
that make him the
DiCaprio
new
or
Scream
Chris?
Queen?
Leonardo DiCaprio or Chris Farley?
Chris Farley. He's got some air in those lungs. Yes, there we go.
Correct. It's getting tougher, by the way. Chris Farley or Bobcat Goldthwait?
Oh. Bobcat.
Good choice.
Did we cover him in a film? Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait. Or maybe it was a Razzie or
Might have
something.
mentioned him.
I mentioned his name and you guys were excited and I had no idea who he was.
He's amazing.
Okay.
Mickey Mouse watch.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Mickey, he's dead.
Bobcat Goldthwait or Will Ferrell?
I'll stick with Bobcat since he's a podcast favourite.
Correct. So that's the last one. You, I think it was 5-4 to Bruce.
Woohoo!
I think you just make up scores.
I kind of lost track in the middle of it.
I know, because I quite clearly won
Top
that.
five of the actual list were Nicolas Cage, Leonardo DiCaprio, Chris Farley, Will Ferrell, and Bobcat Goldthwait was the top of the list.
The Scream
sheer
Queens.
force of screen.
Yeah.
That's why I did the Kings.
Amazing. Yeah, the Scream Kings.
Surprised.
The most bizarre quiz we've ever done, Chris. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
Moving
you thought
quickly on
my
to point six.
hotter or colder was shite.
Yeah, similar vein. Yeah. Point 6: movies within movies. I always keep track of the parodies and references. Very tough this one because it's 1979. It quite clearly references 2001: A Space Odyssey, and not much else does Alien reference because it was very much the first of its kind when it came around.
Alien started the references.
Yeah, exactly. So things that jumped out at me when I was watching it were Spaceballs, the aforementioned alien dancing, the Terminator, can't remember why, Austin Powers 2, because when Mother does the countdown, she does it at such a large number. It's like when Frau Farbissina starts doing the 29, 28. It just made me think of that. And then Star Wars Force Awakens because they quite literally ripped off the look of the ship for Han Solo and Chewbacca's new ship in that movie. Just looks identical to the corridors in this. But literally everything else.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Give it to me.
You know the grates that are in this film, like the stuff they're walking on? It's exactly the same. Like, I mean, it's the same as the Millennium Falcon. They actually use the same grates.
So, aye. So Star Wars is all over this as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, every pop culture thing ever has done something revolving around Alien. Chris, on to you. You've got a tough job, not a tough job, an important job ahead of you because I've done some research too for the 10-point podcast universe. So, I've got my notes.
There's quite a few of this. I nearly missed this one. Sigourney Weaver was the director in The Cabin in the Woods, which I would completely have missed.
He got it.
For the fact I scrolled through it. I think the Xenomorph makes an appearance in it, or it's mentioned at least.
That's a good. I actually thought of that. Yeah, I think it maybe very briefly. Yeah, good one.
You've missed an obvious one.
What?
You let him go.
I'm not finished.
So
Ian Holm was in The Fifth Element.
That's what I'd forgotten, and I found in my research.
And this is another one that was slipped through the net. Is Yaphet Kotto was in The Running Man.
I got it.
One of the runners.
There we go.
I don't think it was more than a Little Shop of Horrors. I think they had 4. So
is that right? Yeah.
It's near. I think it's the second most returnable film.
Percentage-wise, though, there's about 8 people in the cast, and we've had 3 of them before.
Yeah, I know.
it's
Two of them I nearly forgot about.
Yeah, I'll say, lad, totally forgot to be in home. That I would not have called you on that at all. But the other 2,
That's the one I knew instantly. I was like, oh, he's in the fifth element. It was Sigourney Weaver and Yaphet Kotto.
That's him. Have you done your 10-point podcast recast?
I have. Andy is definitely Parker, and it is quite evidently this week that if he's got something to do with money, he won't do it. I'm definitely Brett. I just don't think for myself. I just let everybody do it for me. And I've put you as Dallas, Bruce, because the man in charge of me and Andy is our Mavericks.
I've got Andy's definitely Parker. Like, I know doubt. I also took Dallas for myself. I thought, yeah, I'll be Dallas. I gave you Ripley, Chris. I feel like at some point I'm going to end up kind of wiping out on this, and you got to take over and then save us. I think we both managed to dodge making Andy the alien, which was I was tempted with that, but he is too much like Parker. Which I'm pretty sure he's happy with. By looking at him. Right, on to Andy's movies and movies. Then this is the main reason for this.
It's fucked. Like, Chris fucked me this one because it's set in the future, so fucking far in the future that nobody can really be in it. So, like, the tiniest, tenuous possible link I had was Sigourney Weaver was once possessed by a thing and became Zool, which then made her the director of the Cabin in the Woods because she's good with the supernatural shit. To which we don't actually know what happens at the end, like whether the world gets destroyed or not. However, I think the world does get destroyed, but an alien race kind of gets a bit of her DNA and then clones like another her, and then that's how she gets 250 years in the future, whatever this is meant to be set. And then she goes on to do Alien 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9.
100.
She missed a couple out.
I thought you might have gone for Ian Holm from a Fifth Element or from another film. Was it so good that they made a robot of him? And then how they tied it in might have been.
No, I don't have the years added up. It's just I tried to look and it's like, fucking hell, I hate films that are in the future.
Very good. Well, then, hopefully this is easier for you than Andy. Point 7 on the podcast. Your hypotheticals. What have you got?
Right.
Hypothetically wise.
This is a good hypothetical. Right. You're on the Nostromo. You've decided that, right, I'm going to go and do this mission. However, due to weight issues, you're only allowed to take one thing. What is the one thing you would take to keep you kind of entertained or like look after or whatever? Keep you
Not
sane.
A cat, I'll say that.
Fuck, I don't know.
Immediately I'm thinking, what can I take with me that means that I can like escape? Like,
Well, you don't know that you don't think it's going to happen. You're just on.
It's doomed. If I'm on it, it's doomed.
I'd probably take an Xbox or a games console or something.
Xbox
Keep
Series
myself
X.
occupied.
Yeah, definitely an Xbox Series X.
Just don't order it from game because they'll fuck you hard.
I think it was. I'm assuming it was Parker. It might have been his occasion. He had the right idea of taking condoms or something with him. He had them all just littered everywhere.
That's what I thought you were going to go for. If Sean was on this ship, fucking hell, you'd have a hard drive full.
You'd have whatever they have in the future, not a terabyte, but whatever's bigger than a terabyte in the future.
Like mother would have a virus because Sean's got so much porn.
What would you take?
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking in the future. Well, yeah, tin of haggis just in case, but I don't know. How long was their actual mission? Because you didn't actually find out. Like, what was it like? They were 3 months off from Earth, so they've definitely been away for a long time.
The thing is, like, the cryosleep means how much of that is actually are they awake for a week one way and a week the other way? Like, it might actually be that much time.
Yeah, but did they get there? But I don't know what I would actually take. I would take something like really shit, like a bobblehead, like, and then just have that on the front of the ship for no apparent reason, like something properly shit.
A little Xenomorph bobblehead.
Yeah.
Almost unanimous. Like Xbox is number one of the list.
Xbox.
Anyway.
Wait. Before we move on, let's go back to Sean. Is he still like downloading the internet, and just in case the internet goes down with his porn collection, Chris?
Well, I don't know.
You should ask him if he's still got that hard drive.
Report back on the next episode.
Oh, he's gonna love that.
Well, because he was trying to back it up. Trying to back up the internet.
Anyway, we'll move on. Point 8 on the podcast, our nominations. We can nominate anyone and anything for awards at the end of the season. We're now approaching halfway through the season, so at some point I'm going to start listening to all these episodes again, which I can now watch them on YouTube, which might add, I might do best dressed, excuse me, best dressed on the podcast. But anyway, Chris, who are you nominating? Longest hair on the podcast.
My best death has got to be Kane's. I've gone for best actor for Sigourney Weaver. Fun fact, Yaphet Kotto was told to annoy Sigourney Weaver to create tension between them. Best...
The two of them were always arguing with each other, like the whole time they hated each
other. Best costume, it looks a lot better in the sequels, but it's got to be an alien.
Aye.
It is a costume. Like, I know I blasted it before.
It's the only costume we've made fun of so far on the podcast, but yes.
Like I said, I know I blasted it before, but I mean, it does look awesome when he's down his haunches and you just see, like, face on. This was close. Best villain, I've gone for the Xenomorph. Just beating Ash. Best twist, Ash's robot, because you knew there's something off about him, but you just didn't know what. This was difficult because I wanted to put this as the worst plan, but it's actually the best plan because it worked almost. Ash letting the alien on the ship, because letting the thing on the ship was an awful idea, but it's his plan to do it in the first place, so it's best plan.
The best spur of the moment plan is when the chestburster comes out. Everyone's like, ah, and then Ash just like, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it as it runs away, and they all do just because he's shouting out orders at them. I was like, he did very well there to manage that situation, because any one of them just could have started battering it with something that was on the table. So yeah.
I've just thought about like best set is the space jockey set. There you go. That's mine.
Right, I'm gonna go for best plan. Oh, not best plan. No, best plan it's called. Yaphet Kotto telling them, so after the worst plan of letting the alien in, his best plan was just shouting, put him in the freezer, continuously, and nobody listening to him. But he said it about 8 times. Like, anytime something else happened, just freeze him!
Yeah.
So, definitely, that guy was smart, and somebody should have listened to him, because they really fucked up. But the worst plan is letting an alien on the ship. Like, it's kind of, like, to be fair, no, I'm going to take this back. The worst plan was not checking if it was actually a distress signal, because if they checked it and realised that, oh, actually, it says not to go to that planet, there's some evil alien things down there, this whole film could have been avoided. So...
Again, like, Ash is a genius there, because Ripper says, right, I'm going to go out and tell them it's not a distress signal. And he's like, what's the point? By the time you get there, they'll know.
Yeah.
So again, he stopped her from doing what she was going to do.
But the entire team should have just went, why did we wake up? Distress signal. Let's check if it is first before we all suit up and go to this weird looking alien motherfucking thing. So that is the worst plan. Everything else you've pretty much covered. But yeah, I'm going to kind of agree with Chris. The best set was the space jockey set, because that thing was huge, and you can tell they basically built that entire thing so they can walk around in it for like 5 minutes.
Another fun fact for you. Ridley Scott used his kids to make it look even bigger.
Ah.
Right. Very good. That your nominations, Andy?
Aye.
I've gone for best entrance, the Xenomorph. I think that's an award we do.
Yeah.
I thought seeing it and then realizing we'd seen it, I'm going for that. Most underused, John Hurt. I feel like it kind of has to happen, but he wasn't in it very much before he got killed off, and I thought, they probably could have done more with him. His
definitely in Spaceballs more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Best death's definitely his death. I'll go Sigourney Weaver for best actress as well. Best scene, I've gone for the Here Kitty Kitty with the Xenomorph as well. Double up on that. Best twist, Ash being a robot as well. And then I've gone for most unexpected, Yaphet Kotto, but because I didn't realise he was in this. Like one of these ones where we talked about him for previous episodes, and Andy was always saying how great he was, and then we go back and watch this, and I'm like, oh my god, he's in this film. So yeah, I do not expect to see him again in this film, despite the fact it was a reason.
He should have been the cat though from Red Dwarf.
Yeah, exactly. If Danny and Jules would have been laughing. Yeah. Point 9 on the podcast: the moral of the story. Who wants to give me the moral of the story?
I've got one. Don't break quarantine rules. A rule very relevant just now.
Yes, exactly. And Andy?
Don't help people. It'll only fuck you up in the end.
Exactly. It comes up a lot, I think, that one. The more you help people, the more you make a mess of things. Moral of the story, mine in the form of a haiku: never put your face anywhere near aliens, eggs, or otherwise, is what I've got. It's very much the moral of the story. Point 10 on the podcast is the 10-point rating where we rate the movie out of 10. Chris, you picked. Tradition says you go first.
I love this film. Like, I've seen it so many times and I never get sick of watching it. I'm going to watch it again and again. The Xenomorph looked awesome at points. Like, it looked a little bit goofy sometimes as well. But you're constantly tense. The whole claustrophobic thing, just you don't know what's happening. You don't know when the alien's going to pop out. Well, the first time you see it. So I'm giving it an 8.
8 from Chris. Andy.
I absolutely love the Alien franchise. Well, I say like love after 4, like because they go to shit when Prometheus and that happen. So, but the franchise as a whole, even like crossovers, Alien versus Predator games, comics, the whole lot, absolutely love it. However, Alien is the worst out of the lot of what I like. It's just the only thing that's good about this film is the sets. The story's so slow. Just everything's a bit shit. So it gets a 4.
4.
That's harsh.
You built that up so much, and then you go, everything's so shit, it's a 4.
Because
I think that's what makes it good. Is because it's just like a normal day for them, and then out of nowhere it just gets turned upside down because of a
the problem is Bruce knows how I rate these things, and it is really like if you'd asked me when I first watched Alien, I'd be like, "Fucking hell, I'm a kid. This is terrifying. It's shit scary." However, when you think about it, like as an adult, and if you haven't seen this film, the film is called Alien. There's going to be an alien in it, so you're not going to be scared of it. You do get a couple of loud jump scares, but yeah, you know you're into a slow film when it takes 15 minutes for the credits to actually spell out alien at the start.
15 minutes.
However, if you did ask me to score Aliens, which is the best one of the franchise,
But don't do it yet, because I might bring it up because of a sequel.
Yes, I feel like Aliens is probably going to be happening at some point in the podcast.
It will be.
Just guaranteeing it. Stay tuned.
But 4.
4 from Andy. Me and Andy, we look at films slightly differently.
He likes to fan wank over them and go like, "Oh, this is visually stunning," and "Oh, this has been well acted." I live in the moment, people.
I like to fan wank over it. Says the one guy who only references Marvel films all the time whenever he does movie connections. This film is absolutely nearly perfect. It spawned hundreds of films just like it, and it invented a genre of its own. Like this is the first of its kind. The sense that you always know something bad is coming is just perfect through the film. Everyone is great in it. It's amazingly well directed. It was made in 1979, so I guess a bit of benefit of the doubt. And I've tried to talk myself out of it, but I can't. But I have to give it a 10. It has to be the first 10 on a 10-point podcast. It is nearly perfect. I love it. I didn't realize how much I loved it until I watched it this time. I knew I liked it, but yeah, definitely I have to give it a 10. If I don't give it a 10, I'll never be giving any film a 10. So I have to give it a 10. I think that means that its official score is a 7 for Alien. Alien gets a 7. We've already worked out Chris's theme. We know that Chris has picked best of British or British balls or otherwise. So we don't need to discuss what his theme is. So next, it's Andy. So Andy, what have you picked for us next time on the podcast?
I'm still struggling with his theme. Could be fucking anything.
Well, speaking of anything, it's time to bring it back. Bring it to the future. Let's say, because
the future.
Bring it back to the future.
Well, no, because your pick was so old, I've got to come forward with my pick.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring us all the way up to 1991.
Oh, so far in the future.
Bringing it back into the 90s with a bunch of people we've not done before. I don't think we've done any of them. I could be wrong, but in the top 5, we've definitely not done them. So yeah, Chris can definitely find that for us. So the anticipation's killing you, but it's a nice, feel-good film. It's City Slickers.
City Slickers.
I don't think.
Amazing. No joke, Andy. It's the last film I eliminated that I wasn't going to pick this season was City Slickers. I had 2 that was like, maybe that. I went for the other one.
I've not seen it in absolutely ages, so I need to see if it holds up.
Same, exactly. That was one of my reasons too. City Slickers. Good pick.
And it fits the theme.
Right. no one jumps out at me that we've done before. So yeah, City Slickers. That is funny because I've not watched it in years, and I thought, I might pick that. There we go. City Slickers next time. You've got 7 days, hopefully, since we had some technical issues recording this episode. We'll see if we'll get any doing the next episode. 7 days to watch City Slickers, and we will catch you next time on the 10 Point Podcast, where we can talk about it.